Hey everyone, welcome to Awesome Life TV. I'm so excited today because I'm here with Denise Duffield Thomas, whose book and work has changed my life, and she's such a wonderful, beautiful person. I'm so excited. Thank you, Denise, for being here.
Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate that. And thank you for such a nice intro. And thank you for sharing my work with people in your community.
Of course, of course. I am in love with your book. So if you wouldn't mind taking a minute just to share a little bit more about you and what you do, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So I live in Newcastle, Australia, but I help women all around the world really take care of their money mindset. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm someone who helps women deal with their fears and their sabotages around money. So you can feel good about money, you can feel good about receiving money, you can earn more in your business, and you know that money is just an energy that is and a tool that can help you change the world. So I love talking about money, and money does not have to be scary. So I kind of like to demystify stuff around money, and just my biggest message is that you are enough. You are enough no matter what you're doing right now, and it's okay for you to make more money, and it's okay for you to love more, to love money and to help people at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. So the core focus of Awesome Life TV is really about taking ownership in our lives. And I'd love to kind of circle back around to the work you do and the money aspect towards the end, but I always love to start with what is an area of your life or a particular story or situation that you're open to sharing where you were faced with the choice of having to take ownership, and kind of give us a backstory and what that looked like.
Sure. So a couple of years ago, I used to live in London. So I am Australian, but I moved to London in my early 20s. And I was waiting for somebody else to give me an opportunity. You know, I would be in a job that I didn't really love. I kind of had a bit of a 6-month window where I could start a new job, be happy, work hard, all that kind of stuff. And within about 6 months, I would be either bored or frustrated that I couldn't be creative, or there would just be something in me. I would actually start to get hives. I'd go to work and I'd go, "What's wrong with me? I'm itchy." And it was just that I was itching to get out of my skin. But honestly, I was just waiting for somebody else to give me permission. And I remember thinking, God, I hope I could get fired this year. You know, oh, I wish someone would make me redundant and just give me a whole bunch of money so I could go. And I realized that I needed to take ownership over that. I needed to make it happen. Nobody was going to make it happen for me. And even my partner, you know, I wanted him to tell me and give me permission. Okay, babe, it's time for you to work for yourself. You know, I want you to be happy. And he was supportive, but I had to make that happen, and I had to be the one to push through it. And that's how life is even now. I realize that when there's something that I want, and I tell this to women as well, you know, you can have your partner or your family or your mum be supportive and tell you nice things, but it's not enough. You're the one who has to make it happen. And it's okay to be the ones that we're waiting for, you know, to go into the mirror and sometimes just say those words that you need to hear, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I love that story because I actually remember my first job out of college. It was an amazing job. I mean, the best job I could have had, and I was miserable. All I wanted was to work for myself. And I remember when another girl got fired and thinking, man, I wish that was me. So I love that you shared that story, and I'd love to know, so you gave yourself that permission and you decided to take ownership. Then what happened? I mean, what challenges did you face, or what kind of came up for you as you actually honored that?
Yeah, well, what I've realized since then is that success is really small little actions that compound over time. And it's the same when you have bad situations happen in your life. Often there's just been tiny little actions that have compounded over time to get you into that situation as well. So I had to take ownership of my life. I had to look at everything, the people I was hanging out with, the messages that I was putting into my brain all the time. So I actually did some drastic things. I gave away my TV.
Wow.
And I watch TV now. I love TV. But at the time, I needed to make a radical shift in my mindset. So we actually put our TV out on the, on our stoop, and just put a post-it on it and said free to good home. And it took 5 minutes to go. that made a huge difference because I was just getting sucked into other people's dramas through TV, and I wasn't taking care of myself. I was actually not sleeping and all that kind of stuff because I was just addicted to TV. I stopped hanging around with negative people because I realized that everybody I knew hated their job and wasn't doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. Everyone. And when you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with, that's what I was surrounding myself with all the time. I didn't know anyone who had a business, and I didn't know anyone who was doing something different in their life. So I kind of looked at everything that wasn't working. I couldn't change where I lived. I couldn't change, a few things like that. But I actually quit my job. I was working in consulting. It was a great job for somebody else, great people to work with, a great company. But I just went, this is not going to be the environment that is going to be conducive to me wanting to work for myself eventually. So I actually worked in a charity that was just 5 minutes walk from my house because I just thought, I need that time. I don't want to be commuting every day and getting home at 8 o'clock at night and not having any time to work on my business. So I found a local charity. I took a bit of a pay cut, but everyone finished at 5 o'clock on the dot. So I was at home by 5:05, and it gave me time to work on my business. And people were like, "You're crazy! I can't believe you. Wait till you've got a bit of stuff under your belt before you quit your job." And I just went, "It's now or never. I have to do this." And I stopped hanging around with people who were negative and bringing me down. And at that consulting job, even though I loved it, I spent the whole day, literally the whole day, on IM with my friend at the company, bitching about the company.
Yep.
And once I didn't have that anymore, I had all this creative energy and mental and emotional space. And that's when I started looking at what I could do. And it doesn't mean I was successful straight away, but I had to put my money where my mouth was. I had to make the shift, not wait for someone else to, and when you said your friend got fired, 2 of my friends got made redundant and got massive payouts at that time. And I was so resentful and so angry. And I remember just saying to myself, no, something good is going to happen for me as well. Yeah. And it did. My life really started turning around from making those tiny, seemingly insignificant things that weren't easy decisions to make at the time. But they showed, I guess, the universe that I was serious.
Yeah.
I am going to work for myself, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yep. And you have so many fabulous tools, which you talk about in your book, Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And I know that you're such just an amazing manifester. And so how do you feel like that plays into the whole conversation around taking ownership and personal responsibility?
Huge. Absolutely huge. Because my take on manifesting is manifesting is not magic. Manifesting just means make real. And you can make things real in lots of different ways. I like to combine practicality and like the woo-woo stuff that's unseen. Like there's definitely some stuff that happens, right? But you have to meet the universe halfway.
Yeah.
So when there's a big goal that I want to manifest, I throw everything at it. I go, what is every little thing that I can do to make this happen and to, I guess, put the odds in my favor,
right,
and to make it almost an inevitability that this is going to happen for me. And from the outside, it looks like luck, right? And that's why I call my company Lucky Bitch, because when you do something like that, people go, well, it's all right for you. You just got a lucky break. But when you look at every little like micro action that you could take to make that happen, it's almost, it almost is an inevitability. You're just acting as if, but you're moving forward. And some dreams you have to move forward so much that you're almost detached about how it comes about. I was like, I'm going to work for myself anyway, so I'm kind of detached about quitting my job. It's like, it doesn't matter because I am going to work for myself. So what does it matter if I quit that job? So, I like to get very, very intensely practical when it comes to manifesting.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite practices?
Sure. So let's do an example. Okay, let's do an actual practical example. So say you want to manifest a new house. So this is something that's happened to me quite recently. The first thing I like to do is to declutter. That's my first step. And I declutter in every way that you can possibly declutter. So when Mark and I decided at the week before Christmas that we wanted to buy a house, we started packing up our house. We had not seen a house we wanted to move into yet.
Wow.
We didn't have our financing in place, anything, but we just went, we want to move house and let's move house quickly. So we started to declutter because it's like, this is happening anyway. Let's get rid of all the stuff that's not coming to our dream house.
Right.
So that's some practical stuff. Then we contacted our mortgage broker and said, okay, we want to buy a house. What do we need? This is roughly our budget. Tell us what things we need. Like, will we need pay slips? I'm self-employed. What kind of stuff will we need?
Yeah.
Because he started believing that we were buying a house. So suddenly it wasn't just the two of us that had the belief. We added a third person,
right,
who not only had helped us with the belief stuff, but he was lighting up our ducks, right? Then I personally started working on mindset decluttering. Like, if I bought a house, I wouldn't be able to just chuck it all in and move to Thailand. Like, it's safe for me to buy a house. It's okay for me to buy a house. I started dealing with my own fears. So I was decluttering some of that mental and emotional stuff, because sometimes without that, you will sabotage the action anyway.
Yeah.
I'll go, that house isn't right. That house isn't right. Let's not do it now. And I'd psych myself out. So I kind of declutter from all angles. So that's the decluttering. The second step is deciding what you want and actually setting very specific goals. So we we created a checklist. Here are all the things we want in our dream house. So we had it down on paper, so we knew that when we went to see a house, we could tick things off and make a decision based on, I guess, discernment and not just like, just emotion at the time, because we knew what we wanted to look for. And when you know what you want to look for, you can see the opportunities much clearer. So that's the second thing. Be very, very clear. Do your goal setting. Step 3 is to surround yourself with possibility and get excited and do all those good vibe things. So I started a Pinterest board. Here's my dream house, and got really excited about it. We started looking online at beautiful houses. Step 4 is about taking action. So we went to open houses. We actually started looking, and even though we thought we couldn't afford it, we were acting as if we were going forward. And then step 5 is learning to receive and taking advantage of opportunities and synchronicities.
Right.
So honestly, it took us, after we did all that stuff, it took us about a week to find our house. This is the day before Christmas. We put in an offer. It got accepted. We did all the paperwork on the 29th of December, and we actually moved in, because even though we didn't close on the house until the end of March, we actually moved in January. So we said to the owners, we want to move in like 3 weeks' time. We'll rent from you for 2 months and then we'll settle. So it all happened within 3 weeks, because, though, from the outside, you're such a lucky bitch. Look at you, Denise, just buying a house. No, you can break it down into those 5 steps, and that works for any goal. So that's just a very practical example of one goal and what you could do. But you could do that with weight loss. You could do that with finding clients, with increasing your business, with writing a book for your business, for finding your soulmate. Follow that same process again and again.
Yeah, I love it. Such a powerful process. Thank you for sharing that. And I'd love to talk about, so your book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, I have read a number of times. I recommend it to all my clients. Yes, get it, buy it now. Seriously, it's amazing. And even my best friend and I, when we get into a headspace of like, business is slow, or I'm stressed about money, or I need to do whatever, we're just like, you need to read Denise's book again. So I love your book, and I'd love to talk a little bit about taking ownership in the financial space of our lives, because that's one of the top excuses that we always hear when we're trying to go towards something or create something is, I don't have enough time and I don't have enough money. And so I'd love to just get some of your awesome expertise around taking ownership in that area of your life.
Absolutely. So I am not a financial advisor. I am someone who just wants to normalize money for women, right? Because I think a lot of us have got beliefs that we're not good with money, or we're not good with numbers, or the men in our life should take care of the money and we shouldn't. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of cultural stuff. So I just want to acknowledge at the beginning that it's okay if you're scared about money, because it's new for our generation, for our parents' generation, maybe for our mum's generation. Maybe they were the first generation to have jobs and careers, and so they had to deal with a lot of stuff like sexism and inequality and all that kind of stuff, right? And then our grandmother's generation, some of them weren't able to have any assets or have any financial freedom, and then their mothers and grandmothers didn't even have a vote. So you can see how now we're taking up the mantle of being empowered around money, and it's new for us. Some of us are the first generation to have our own businesses, to have our own careers, to earn great money, to set our own prices, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to acknowledge at the start, that's why it's freaking scary, because it's completely new for us, and we are forging stuff for our children and not just the girls, but the generations coming after us to be empowered around money. So my philosophy on it, again, it follows the same process. You have to declutter your thoughts and feelings about money. You have to declutter some of your bad habits around money. Maybe you don't open your credit card statements. Maybe your finances are in a mess. Maybe your wallet's in a mess. So that's the first step, is decluttering. Second step, decide what you want. How much money do you want to make? Be really clear on that and own that. Like, take ownership over the fact that maybe you do want to be a millionaire, or take ownership over the fact that you don't want to be a millionaire. That's okay as well. Yeah. Know how much your dream life costs. Your dream life, not your parents or your best friends or your marketing guru,
Yeah.
Yeah, what you want to make and where you want to live and how you want to live. And there aren't any rules anymore. No one says that a mansion is better than a tiny house, right? Because those tiny houses now, people are making, specific decisions to live like that. And that's their version of a first-class life. So that's really empowering, taking ownership over your goals and your financial goals around money. The second one is surrounding yourself with abundance and prosperity. So put in positive messages around money. What are you listening to around money? What are the messages you're taking in from other people? Maybe you have to go back to decluttering and declutter your TV or declutter some of your friends or declutter some of your clients who aren't making you feel good about money. The step 4 is around action. Do you need to take more action around getting clients in the door? That doesn't just happen by magic. You have to tell people about what you do. You have to get really intensely practical. Sometimes it's you say to someone, if I go to your site right now, can I give you money? Like, is there any way I can give you money? Do you have a shop page? Do you have a work with me page? Do I have to really work hard to give you money as a consumer? And then step 5 is learning to receive, learning to actually receive that money. When clients say, can I work with you? And you go, oh, here's my cheapest package, or, oh, don't worry, you don't have to pay for that, or even little things like your friend wants to buy you coffee and you say, no, I'll get it. Like, that's all learning to receive and not kind of rejecting abundance that's in your life. And it all sounds like there's a lot to do. It's like, oh God, how am I supposed to remember that formula? How am I supposed to do this again and again? But it's really not. It's you layer it on. You compound all those good habits around money. You learn every day. You learn and grow every day around money. You don't have to get it perfect, but it's about you learning just to be empowered in all areas of your life. And money, you start to realize, is just one tool that you can do good with in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And again, I am so in love with your book. And one of the things that I really loved was throw everything at it. There's not just one right way to take ownership in an area of your life, or to create more abundance, or to get healthy, and just like whatever feels good and feels aligned, like just throw it all at it.
Yes. And I think now this idea of ownership is owning who you are is the biggest thing. Don't feel like you can't put yourself out there because you want to lose 10 pounds. Because people want to see real, and they want to see someone who looks like them, and, take ownership over the fact that you are who you are. And that's okay. And not only is that okay, that's so necessary for the world. Diversity is just such an important thing to show. It's okay for you to be however you are, and wealthy. You know, when people go, well, I can't be wealthy because I'm X. We've all got our excuses, you know. And it's like, well, own it. You have to own it because nobody is going to do it for you, you know. And it's okay if you don't have a role model who's exactly like you, it's okay for you to be the role model.
Yes. I love that. I love that so much. You know, I relate that to when you go into a space, maybe this isn't everyone's thing, but like you notice that you're the only one wearing a certain color or wearing shorts when everyone's wearing pants, and you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only one. But it's like you get to be that person that's showing someone else like it's okay to just wear what you want or be who you are. And that is such a fundamental piece of taking ownership, because you can't take ownership in any area of your life. Like you're saying, you can't take it financially if you don't know what you want to create and you don't know where you're at and what your patterns and your beliefs are. So thank you for saying that.
Absolutely. And, you know, be the first person in your generation or your family or your neighborhood or your ethnicity or whatever. Be that exception. Be that person who is making it happen, and you'll inspire so many people. And it's sometimes a bit tricky to do that because you think, I want someone else to tell me that it's okay. I want someone else to show me. You can't always do that, you know?
Yeah.
And whatever your excuse is, I think I've heard so many excuses. I've heard, you know, English is not my first language, so I can't do videos, or I can't, you know, ask for the sale. Well, there are so many people who are waiting for somebody with your accent to come out and tell them you can do this too. You know, you might think the color of your skin's wrong. Well, someone is waiting for the person with your exact shade of skin to show them that they can do it.
Yes.
And I used to have an excuse that I was too short. And it's like ridiculous that the things that we come up with and the things we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, I'm Australian. I can't do that. I'm Australian. People won't understand my accent. Like, what? What are you talking about? You know, oh, maybe I should lose weight and then I'll spread my message. No, there's someone who's like, oh, God, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yep. Absolutely. And I would love to hear your take as kind of a final question on what it means to you now that you have a beautiful, beautiful daughter who is just like totally your mini-me. What is taking ownership? Has that shifted your view on that approach and belief? And how does that kind of play into motherhood for you?
Wow. Yeah, great question. You know, when it was just the two of us, just Mark and I, you know, I would just really neglect some basic things. Like, I just wouldn't eat because I just go, oh, there's no food in the house, whatever, I just won't eat. I wouldn't think of it. Or I just couldn't be bothered to do a lot of stuff. And I think then when you've got someone who just relies on you for everything, I was like, wow, I actually have to have food in the house to feed her. I have to be responsible and show her, like, be a role model for her. But I also have to take care of her. I have to be bothered.
Yeah.
I have to care. You know, that was the tricky thing. I resisted having babies for so long. I was like, oh, I'm just not ready to have that kind of responsibility. So that's the day-to-day stuff, right? But overwhelmingly, what I realized as soon as I had her, I really got for the first time some of the inequalities that happen for women in the world. I realized, you know, for me just feeling like, oh, it's unfair, I have to take care of the baby and I have to do this, to realizing that women around the world, a lot of women don't have choice around how they live and how they work, and they're, you know, trapped. And a lot of it comes down to money. You know, women feel trapped around money. And I then realized my mother, how she felt around not having any money and not having any choice. I think it really gave me a fire in my belly about how important it is for women to be empowered. And I felt even more that my voice was just as valid as anyone else. And I think it gave me just much more passion for my work. On a practical level, it gave me a lot more organization in my work as well. So, you know, I think anyone who just has a big passion for change in the world, you know, having a baby definitely amplifies that. So if there's people listening saying, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to have a baby, well, I can tell you it really does improve that part of your life. And for the women who decide that they don't want to have a baby, take ownership over that as well. You know, there aren't any rules anymore. No one says you have to do anything.
Right.
For me, I I think anything you do, you always want to make sure life is getting better and improving, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it's done for me. It's been a really beautiful journey, and I can't, we're going to have more kids, and, I can't wait to do it again. And I just admire, have a new appreciation for mums for sure, especially mums in business. It's yeah.
Yeah, I am so impressed. I watch my best friend with 2 little girls. I watch women like you, and I'm just like, wow, to build what you've built. And so thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I would love, before we wrap up, if you could share where people can find you, how can they learn from you, where can they buy your book, all that awesome stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm at luckybitch.com, and if you go to luckybitch.com/chapter, look at the first 3 chapters of my book, and you can see if the style's for you. It's not for everyone. I swear a little bit in it. It's a little bit of a cheeky, fun take on money, but that's a really great way to see if you resonate with my style. I've just launched something new too. It's a free manifesting course, and it goes through that 5 formula that I was talking to you about, and what you can do in each stage. It's called a cheat sheet you can download. So if you do have a goal, might not be a house, could be something else, you can go through that formula. And so that's at luckybitch.com/formula.
Awesome.
Really, really easy. Yeah.
Awesome. And find her online. You're on Instagram, I know, Facebook. Love following your
Periscope.
Posts.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's so many awesome ways. This is the best time to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best time to be a woman. We're so grateful. We're so lucky, and just embrace it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Denise, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Stephanie.